Frank Ranks, week number 29. We got Marvel, we got DC, and we got Independence. Who's going to be up on top this week? I can't wait to tell you guys, so let's talk about it right now. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thank you so much for spending time with me as we rant about movies, comic books, and television shows, as well as the occasional board game. I'm your host, Frank Zanca. I'm an award-winning screenwriter, novelist, and comic book writer, as well as a filmmaker. And yeah, I'm about to start work on another movie Monday, tomorrow. Actually, I don't know if I'm going to have a chance even to edit this, so I'm starting on the 11th, so you can see that I've recorded this thing, even if I didn't get a chance to edit it later in the week. But yeah, we're going to check out, it's week 29 already for the year, can you believe that? So let's talk about these comics. I'm going to rank 8 of them. Again, they range from Marvel to DC to Independence. I can tell you that, like, I got a lot of good stuff in here this week, so it was hard to rank them because I really didn't. Well, for the most part, I didn't dislike anything that I just absolutely hated. So it was hard to get a number in here. But let's start with number 8. And as one of the books here, I'm also going to read something out of it, too, so that you can get a kind of a perception of what I like and dislike. All right, so let's jump into number 8, and this is a Marvel book on the bottom. Not a shock to anyone. And this is Captain America issue 2 by Chip Zdarsky. So everybody knows that Chip Zdarsky's run on Batman was an absolute piece of garbage. He did Daredevil pretty well, and then he jumped into Batman. So he's a Daredevil, Batman, and now Captain America. I mean, he's hitting some of the biggest characters in comics that I would die to write. And he's just fucking them up right and left, man. What is going on with this guy? You get such great opportunities, and you put out garbage. So, again, Daredevil was decent, Batman was garbage, and as far as I'm concerned, Captain America's garbage. He had a couple of good scenes in the issue 1, which is why I picked up issue 2, where he's on, the motorcycle. According to this, he just came out of the ice and he's trying to find his way. I don't need any of that, man. Let's go back to the Stan Lee, Jack Kirby stuff, where he's fighting Hydra, he's fighting that's all we need. I don't know why everybody has to delve into this character so deeply. He's not a deep character. He is a soldier fighting forces that are beyond the scale of most other people to fight. And, he goes, investigates, and, all these different little things going on. And that's what this character is. And people don't seem to get him. They keep trying to disconnect him, disconstruct him, and then re-put him back together. And we don't need that here. We do get some good stuff with Doom in here, or the Doom bots or whatever. But I absolutely hate this costume with the black star, if that's really what it is. I hate it. They also gave somebody else the super soldier serum, this red-haired guy. So basically we have another version of U.S. Agent for whatever damn reason, which to me destroys that people have the super soldier serum is just out to everybody. I think destroys the original origin story of Captain America, where the professor, gave his life so that nobody else could ever replicate it, and it's replicated 100 times over. I don't know, man. Red Skull had his own version, right? Which I think that's what altered him. So there was always repercussions because there was always some ingredient that was missing. But I really don't need this other guy with super soldier serum in there. He's also Captain America, also wielding a shield. now I got two guys with the same powers doing exactly the same thing in the same book. What are you thinking? You're diluting the character. So I'm going to give this probably to issue 5, and I am out. Out. This is garbage. So far, this is complete garbage. And if he has that character in there throughout this whole series, or up to issue 5, I'm just done. All right, and then continuing into 7, also with Marvel. In fact, I don't have, oh, yeah, the 2 Marvel books that I have are on the bottom. So that tells you that I have either DC or Independent at number 1. And unfortunately, this is Moon Knight, who I normally have him like in the top 2 by Jed MacKay. Normally, I like that we have a whole different artist on this, which kind of threw me. And I was really expecting the Fairchild story to wrap up here, because in the last issue, he ran away, right? Because he saw him pull the sword and he just ran away. And that's it. He just let him get away. We're not going to close that story up. He's just going to be out there. Why would he just let him run away? I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense. So this is like a bridge issue. This is, a palate cleanser kind of thing where it's Mark's birthday and he's resurrecting the Midnight Mission, and 8-Ball is giving himself a cape. I thought that was pretty fun. But it's all told through POV. So it's the POV of whoever is on the other side of the camera. So all the characters are looking towards the camera and talking to it. And said, oh, yeah, we have this, blah, blah. So the other character is out off screen. And I thought that was an interesting way of doing things. But we also bring up Moon Knight's daughter. I didn't even know he had a daughter. Somebody wrote to me in my comic book roundup thing, and he explained to me that it happened before Jed MacKay's run. I didn't read anything before Jed MacKay's run, so I don't know anything about it. But anyway, for me, that was out of left field. It was probably mentioned that he had a daughter, but we have never seen a daughter in the whole run before this, and now up to issue 11, so it's a whole nother year just in Fish of Khonshu that she hasn't been mentioned ever. So it's on the bottom of the list because it just didn't seem like the regular run. Like, it was completely different. And I really was disappointed that we didn't go after Fairchild. We just letting him go, I guess. I don't know. I'm kind of hoping that's not the case, but I think it is. All right, so let's jump into number 6. And this is a DC book. And that is JSA. So we're gutting, again, we have Jeff Lemire that wants to write something that's 12 issues long, and I don't understand it. I don't understand why these writers have to have a storyline extend out from a year or even beyond a year. I'm hoping he's looking to close this up now. But anyway, we still have the Injustice Society that's still going on. Kendra and Hawkman are still in hell, and now they're with this young girl who's a ghost, and we end up finding out it's a reveal that she's Kid Eternity. Okay, whatever. But anyway, Kendra wants to go find the girl. She doesn't know that it's actually Kid Eternity, but she thinks that the kid's in trouble. So they're going to go, her and Carter have an argument about going to find the kid. Meanwhile, the Injustice Society is getting the Spear of Destiny. Not that that's ever been used before. And the Justice Society is going after them. And they end up walking into a trap and the whole bit. Okay. So at least the story's kind of moving. But I'm ready for this, because we also start out with Obsidian Sorrow. I've got the guy's name who was impersonating Obsidian. So we start out with that reveal that it was him the whole time impersonating him. And so we have some good pieces there, but I'm just over it already. A story that lasts 12 issues or longer. We're only on 10, so he has 2 issues, hopefully, just to wrap this up. Let's get some action going. Let's get some fight scenes going. Let's close it up, and let's start something new. And hopefully he won't last a whole nother year trying to tell a story. Okay, so number 5 is a book that I got on Kickstarter. And if you hear the thing, it's because I'm opening it. It came in, plastic. And it's by Madeline Holly Rosing, who I semi-know. We're part of the same filmmaking group back in L.A., which is how I got associated with her books to begin with. So she has her own IP called the Boston Metaphysical Society, which I think is okay. I think it's very, very slow. And it's just a lot of dialogue, not a whole lot of action to it. But, she goes into Tesla and stuff like that, so she's bringing historical figures in. And she does the same thing here with Morgana, of course, from the Arthur Pendragon kind of story. And I want to read the opening thing to you to talk about writers in general. I don't know if you guys are interested in writers, but I just wanted to read this really quick. Oh, the Boston Metaphysical is actually listed right here. My first Morgana story was a screenplay that I wrote out of UCLA graduate program in screenwriting. It was shopped around, blah, 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 and it went nowhere. And I put it away. So here's the part I want to read. When you get to a certain age, especially as a woman, you find you are less and less represented in stories unless you're the mom, the grandmother, the feisty aunt, or something even more banal, the wicked witch. You are ignored, dismissed, and yes, diminished. Morgana Pendragon is my response. In the past, Morgana has been portrayed as a seductress, a monster, narcissist, and sometimes just plain evil. Granted, in several versions, she was also intelligent, assertive, and not willing to bow to social norms, but nonetheless, she was still the bad one. I wanted to take these cliches and pretty much trash them. In my version, she is a flawed, complex human trying to make her way in the world, fix mistakes if possible, and try to find happiness where she can, pretty much like the rest of us, except with magic and swords. Okay, so you know what I call this? Self-insert. This is a self-insert character. She doesn't like who the character is because Morgana, whether you like it or not, she's a villain. She is a villain. And this is somebody saying, you know what? I want her to be me. I don't want to write Morgana the way everybody else is written. I want her to be me. And it doesn't really work that way. Because the character... So that's like me saying, you know what? I'm going to write Superman, but he's going to be an overweight, balding, middle-aged guy... who is, trying to find his way in the world. It's no longer Superman, right? Because I self-inserted, and now the character is not the same. The character is unrecognizable, where I might as well just change the name of the character. However, when you're going through Kickstarter and you have a character named Morgana, you're going to get more people come in to support your thing than not. So that's the situation. So this could have been called anything. Anything. You could have called it Pussy Girl on the Moon. It wouldn't have mattered. Because she did not take the character seriously. Now, does that mean the writing's bad on it? No, I thought the writing was actually decent. It's a little bit shaky in the beginning, but I like the ideas that she has. But this is not Morgana. And on top of that, Morgana has no powers in here. She has no magic. Her magic's gone. So she took away every piece of what this character is and just stuck the name on it. I don't believe in that at all. So I'm going to give this the 5 area because it's still written well, but it can't go any higher than mid because she totally took the character and changed it to suit herself. So this is the story. She's got her own band. She's a mercenary. Arthur is dying, and nobody knows about Mordred, which is her son. And Mordred is technically next in line for the throne, but nobody knows about him. So the other knights of the Round Table are kind of vying for the new. Since I guess that her and him, he never had any children of his own, which I think is the case mostly for all the Arthurian legends. He does not have a child of his own. So all the other knights are kind of vying for the throne at this point, and she's kind of keeping Mordred, who she's kind of estranged from, a secret. So overall, it's a good story, but it's misnamed, if that makes any sense whatsoever. So, and it's got the self-insert because she feels that older women get relegated to moms and grandmoms and get ignored. I know plenty of stories about moms that are very, very good and where they're the main character. So I don't know what she's talking about. I don't know. Obviously she's going through a midlife crisis. All right, so before we go into the final four, we're going to talk about my books because, yes, I'm a writer myself, and if you'd like to check out anything that I've written, you can go to Amazon.com and just type my name in, or there's a link in the description below. You can check out my 4-novel sci-fi quadrilogy that is also on Audible. It's also on Kindle. It was made into a board game, an RPG, and a graphic novel. And on top of that, you can also check out my fantasy book. It's a YA fantasy called Tales of Ravenor the Iron Witch. And if you like dragons and things like that, you're going to love that one. And is also my Fairy Tales of Terror. It's my new graphic novel coming to Kickstarter right now. You can sign up on Kickstarter and get notified about when we launch. I'm working on a film right now that I'm starting on the 11th, which is tomorrow. I don't know when this is going to get edited, but I am starting on that as I discussed. So I'm hoping to launch that, but hopefully before the movie's over, but definitely right after. Definitely check that out. A QR code is here, or there's a link in the description below. We have a Psycho Cinderella. I gave Captain Hook this huge hook and his own little fire fairy, and they're running around New York killing people for a reason that's a mystery. And we also have Tiger Lily, who I made into a badass. I don't know if that's really a self-insert. But she's coming from Neverland to hunt them down and stop them. All right, so definitely check that out. QR code here, or there's a link in the description below. All right, so let's jump back into the final four. One of my favorite writers on this, and I still made him a number 4, and that is Greg Rucka. Greg Rucka probably wrote the last Wonder Woman arc that's actually halfway decent. But anyway, one of his favorite characters is Cheetah, and this is Cheshire and Cheetah, and they robbed the Justice League. And so if the book is written by one of my favorite writers, because even his novels are very good, and he was a really nice guy. I've met him a couple of times now at cons, and he signed some stuff for me, all that stuff. But so both of these characters are written pretty well, and on top of that, the artwork is phenomenal. I love the artwork in here. It's really good. I like how the juxtaposition of the characters are, where you kind of know that they're going to backstab each other eventually, but it's an uneasy alliance kind of thing. So Cheetah has a plan to rob the Justice League of, this is where it drops down for me, is this plot device, kind of like Naked Gun, the P period L period O period T period, the plot device. So the plot device here is a box that has all of the Justice League powers in it? What? What is going on? What? Boy, he was on some major drugs writing this. What if all of the powers of the Justice League were in one box and they were holding it on the watchtower? What? What? That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. So right up to the reveal of the plot device, I was all in, and I was like, going, what are you talking about? So I'm waiting to see where this goes. Of course, I'm going to collect it all the way through. I think it's a miniseries. But yeah. All right. If anybody knows where this idea came from, please let me know. Because I'm really interested. All right. Number 3. Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong 2 versus the world. And I think most people hate this book, and I think they're just taking it too seriously. I don't take this thing seriously at all. I think it's just dumb fun. And I really, really like where they're going with this, with Waller trying to create her own Titans out of the Suicide Squad, Task Force X, whatever you want to call them. And then you have the whole battle between Lex and Superman. Superman doesn't have... They're in the monster dimension right now or whatever. So he doesn't really have... He's not at full power. So he and Lex were fighting. And then all the gorillas, like Kong's kin or whatever, that live in Central Earth or whatever. That was kind of part of the last movie. He starts trying to fight them. Lex just kind of leaves them there to die. Meanwhile, you have Flash that ends up going against Cheetah. So Cheetah's in this one too. So Cheetah's becoming a major villain at this point. And then Kong shows up there. And then we have Peacemaker. And they have Wonder Woman kind of, tied up. They said, "Oh, we beat you, blah, blah, blah. I was expecting something more." And then whenever they get to their destination, Supergirl shows up and says, "All right, you going to break out or what?" And she's like, "Yeah, I was just waiting for you." And she breaks out. She's like, "Oh," she clocks Peacemaker, man. Clocks him, knocks him out in one hit. And I loved all that. I thought that was all great. And then when Superman finally gets out of the Central Earth or whatever, you can't say Middle Earth because that's the wrong IP. So he gets out, and as soon as he gets out, he's like face to face with Godzilla. So they're gonna about to do a rematch from the last one. Anyway, I have a lot of fun with this. I think Buccellato does a good job with it. But I know most people hate it, but I really like it. All right, down to the last two, and the first one here is an independent. And that is G.I. Joe, Greatest American Hero by Larry Hama. I read this digitally, as you can tell from the sticky note. And I originally did not like where Larry Hama was going, because we were going into zombies and all. I'm like, what are we doing? G.I. Joe zombies? What the hell's going on? But it's gotten continuously better as far as I'm concerned. Where now we had them infiltrate not a headquarters, but where all of the Cobra guys are all barracked, and they all have their families and stuff like that. And we had one family defect, so we had them take their identities and then go back into the area. Meanwhile, I don't like having Storm Shadow as a good guy, but Storm Shadow's a good guy. And they're in the sewers, and they're fighting. They find Cobras fighting zombies, but then they get found out. And then there's like this student or whatever else, this kid ends up discovering that they're undercover. So all these, and then you have another group that's in the woods or whatever else, and they get found out by a drone or whatever else. So you have three versions of their infiltration unit that all gets discovered at the same time. And they're trying to exfil them quick. So, and meanwhile, then you have Cobra Commander. I don't understand the Cobra Commander mask, or he's got this mustache and a beret. I don't quite understand any of that. It's obviously happened before I was even reading, because I'm not used to anything that has Cobra Commander's face. But anyway, he's trying to escape, and he's got into this car with this guy that has no brakes. I don't know what's going on there. But it's a pretty fun issue. I've liked all this stuff in this run when I started. I guess I've been reading it now for about 8 issues now, or something to that effect, 8 to 10 issues, and I've liked it continually better. Okay, and number 1. What is number 1, everyone? Number one. Is it independent or is it DC? It's an independent, and this is Dick Tracy with a new, because this is how Alex Segura is writing this, and Alex Segura is writing Star Wars and it's bad. And then he's got this, like, David Pepose, right? David Pepose can write Space Ghost like nobody else, as far as I'm concerned. He does a great job. But if you read other stuff by David Pepose, it's not good. So, same thing here, where Segura gets this character, but doesn't get the character from Star Wars, and it's pretty apparent. But he really gets this character. And this is some of the best stuff from Dick Tracy I've ever seen. So he's every 5 issues, he starts a new storyline, which that's the way it should be. 5, 6, 7, even 8 issues, start a new storyline. And he's doing 5, which is actually pretty short. And Jim Zub's doing that too with Conan, which I appreciate. I don't know, the guys from Marvel and DC need to take notes from these guys. But anyway, so the last one really didn't end. It ended but didn't end, right? With the blank. And now we get this new one, and we see a lot of death in this one. A lot of people die in this issue. In 20-something pages, there's a lot of people dead. So we start out in World War II in 1943 or something to that effect. No, it has to be not after 1945, right? Because he is connected with the UK in World War II. So they're fighting the Nazis. And there's snipers all over the place. And a bunch of these guys just get sniped right off the bat. So you kind of feel like you're in war with this thing. There's nobody safe. I mean, you know he's not going to die. But he gets connected with this British guy named Carl Clymer with no B. So it's Climer. But anyway, so that's where that one ends after a whole lot of violence in there. It's really, really well done. And it's a good setup because Carl ends up showing up in this issue. And on top of that, Pat Patton, out of the blue, gets shot. Right in the chest, man. Out of the blue. Just gets shot. And then he goes to Carl Clymer to go visit with him because he's like, there's stuff going on that is right around you and you need to know about it, but I can't talk to you. We need to be somewhere completely isolated. And it ends with his apartment blowing up as Dick Tracy's going into the building. Really, really good stuff. You know, high drama, action, the whole bit. This book has it all. I'm not a fan of the art. The guy really can't draw noses. You know, like Liefeld can't draw feet. This guy has a real big problem with noses. But it's not awful. It's just not great. I really prefer another artist on it. Kind of like Absolute Wonder Woman. I really wish there was another artist on there for the writing. With Kelly Thompson's writing on that one. And I kind of feel that here. If I had a better artist, I would enjoy this book even more. But this was really a really good issue. And I thought the first storyline, the first 5 issues, was weak compared to these last 6. I think these last 6 have just been awesome. Anyway, that's it for me. Let me know what you guys are reading. You agree, disagree of what my ranking was. You guys probably hate the Godzilla versus Justice League versus Kong thing. A lot of people do, but I'm having fun with it. Anyway, check out my... remember to give me a like, give me a thumbs up. If you can subscribe, please do. And share this video out there so you can see, everybody else can see what's going on in comics this week. And yeah, definitely check out the link in the description below for my Amazon stuff. And definitely jump into Fairy Tales of Terror. The QR code is here, or is link in the description below for that one. I think you guys will have a lot of fun with that as well. All right, thanks for watching, guys. I will see you guys on the next one. Have a great week.